Welcome back to Learning the No BS Mentality. Today we have lesson 3 where we are going to talk about how to build a long-term mindset, okay? A lot of you guys want to achieve great things, but most of you never will because a lot of you guys are stuck in a short-term mindset. But if you do want an above average life, you have to build a strong long-term mindset at a young age, all right? So before we get into any specifics here, we're going to talk about short-term mindset versus long-term mindset from a broad general point of view. All right. So what a short-term mindset looks like, all right, is that you're probably going to be asking yourself questions like, what do I feel like doing today? Or how do I stay comfortable this week? And ultimately, what this comes down to is this mentality that I deserve to relax. The fact is, you do not deserve to relax because you are probably fat and you are probably broke. What this mentality looks like is you are probably skipping your workouts, okay? You are probably spending money that you do not have and money that you are probably not earning, and you probably have no ambition, okay? What I want to build in you guys is a strong long-term mindset where instead you're going to be asking questions like, where do I want to be in 5 years, or what does that version of me do daily? And ultimately this comes down to the mindset of I earn my results. All right. And what this mentality is going to look like is you're going to train when you do not feel like it. All right. You save when you would rather spend, and you would work when others are distracted. Okay. In today's lesson, we are going to get into short-term freedom versus long-term freedom. All right, we're going to change our definition of freedom essentially. And we discussed this in the last episode, but we're going to talk about it briefly again. We're going to talk about short-term financial stability versus long-term wealth. We're going to talk about short-term goals versus long-term vision. We're going to talk about cheap dopamine versus long-term rewards. And then finally, we're going to talk about identity over feelings. So without further ado, let's get into it. Moving on to cheap dopamine versus long term rewards. Right now, cheap dopamine is killing you because let's be honest, you are probably addicted to easy entertainment, constant stimulation, and zero effort rewards. What these stem from is porn, video games, doom scrolling, and partying, and they are making you weak because the more you consume what's easy, the harder it becomes to do what's necessary. While you are chasing quick hits, someone else is building the life that you wish you had. It is time that we start appreciating long-term rewards. What long-term rewards look like are building a strong physique, mastering skills, creating income streams, and creating meaningful relationships. Okay. These are low stimulation at first, but create high rewards. Okay. Cheap dopamine, high stimulation, but zero rewards. Okay. The key idea here is you are shaped by what you do when you are bored. Moving on. All right, let's talk about short term freedom versus long term freedom, and let's change our definition of the word freedom. So, what short term freedom looks like, the mentality that comes with that is that I want to do whatever I feel like today. All right, and what this looks like is skipping workouts, spending impulsively, and avoiding responsibility. All right, and this means you are living with no rules and no structure. All right, this isn't freedom, this is lack of control. What real freedom looks like is waking up with options, not being stressed about money, and in control of your body and your time. Okay. In order to achieve this, you need to have the mentality that I'll restrict myself now so I can be truly free later. All right. And what true freedom means is financial independence and control over your lifestyle and time. Okay. In the end of the day, short term freedom is emotional, long term freedom is structural. All right. Moving on. All right, now let's talk about short term stability versus long term wealth. Okay. What a short term mindset prioritizes is safe, predictable income, comfort and security right now, and avoiding risk entirely. All right. But what we want is we want to build long term wealth. And what a long term mindset prioritizes is what has upside, right? And what skills compound over time and where what they're doing can put them in 5 to 10 years if they commit to it. All right. And people with a long term mindset are willing to take calculated risks, learn high income skills, and delay comfort. All right. The key idea here is a short term mindset equals safety, and a long term mindset equals infinite upside. All right. Moving on. All right, now I want to discuss short term goals versus long term vision. Okay. Short term goals are not bad. All right. A short term goal might be wanting to lose 10 pounds or making $1,000 or staying 30 days consistent at something, whether it be breaking a bad habit or creating a good habit that you didn't have before. All right. While these can be good, they're limited and they can be hard to follow through with. Okay. I want to challenge you guys to create a long term vision. All right. What a long term vision looks like is building a body that lasts decades or creating wealth that lasts generations. Okay. And ultimately, it means being a man that follows through. Okay. Short term goals cause you to drift, long term vision gives you direction that lasts a lifetime. Okay. Moving on. Every single day that you choose the easy path, you are getting weaker, you are falling behind, and you are wasting time that you will never get back. Right now, there is somebody your age outworking you. They're building the body, they're building the income, and they're building the discipline, and they're building the empire. And soon enough, they will be living the life that you wish you had. It is time that you raise your standards, okay? Stop living for today and start building for the next 5 to 10 years. Because the life that you want, it's not built on comfort, it's built on consistency, discipline, and delayed gratification. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson. All right, last thing here. Let's talk about feelings versus identity. All of you short minded thinkers out there, you guys say, I'll do it if I feel like it. It's time we stop negotiating with ourselves. Become the person that says, I'll do it because it's who I am. You don't feel like working out? Irrelevant. You don't feel motivated? Doesn't matter. Be the guy that does it anyways, because the difference between average and elite isn't talent, it's standards. All right, moving on.